There's no arguing that people love their cars.
We weren't arguing.
They talk about their cars, sing about their cars. Some people even look like their car. Whether it's an old car, new old car, fast car, family car, electric car, race car, two-wheel car, no-wheel car, or a car you know's parked around here somewhere. People who love their cars love to tinker with them. Some people tinker big, some people tinker small, some people tinker some degree between those two variables.
Whose voice is that?
And that's where Supercheap Auto comes in. We've been helping people tinker for 50 years. For people like Bill, Lucy, Kevin, other Kevin.
Oi, get off my car!
Didn't catch this guy's name.
It's Kevin.
Not Patrick. He doesn't shop with us. Whoever you are, whatever you drive, we'll help you make it super. Because super is our middle name. Well, technically it's our first.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to a beautiful round 9 of the Supercheap Auto East Coast Series. I'm John Van Ree. With me, as we're about to go into quali, is the one and only David Worrell. How are you, David?
Too bad, mate. Yourself?
Yeah, not too bad. We have 2 sprint races tonight, of course. First race is 60Ks. The second race will be 100Ks with a compulsory pit stop. For those who don't know, Dave races in the independent production car races, as well as a bit of V8 vets and a few other things on the iRacing platform. And multiple times on the podium at the Bathurst 6 Hour in real life. So, man, speaks of good experience, don't you?
Yeah, I don't know what to say. You've beaten me up a fair bit there. I don't know what to say. Why not? I'm excited. Love to be at Winton. It's my favourite track, as some people would say. Some people would say I'm not a fan of it. But, you know.
We'll get to that. We'll get to turn 12 later. Let's have a look at the track, speaking of it. So, these boys rolling out, of course. So, it's a very tight little circuit in northeast Victoria, not too far away from my own home. So, been there quite a few times, know the place relatively well. We start on the new, or it's not so new anymore, but the extended pit lane, pit straight, where we come down into the S's through turn 1 and 2. Very tight, twisty corner with a bit of an altitude change coming up through 2, up over the hill, down the old main straight into turn 3, where we sweep downhill into Coates Corner, a very fast corner to get correct and right. And then we come through the big sweeping turn 5, one of the most difficult corners to get right on the track because you don't want to lose too much speed going through it. And then we have a quick change of direction through rollover corner into Penrite. And then we come out of Penrite around the tree up into Truck Assist Corner, very slow technical part of the circuit, 7, 8 and 9. Then we get a chance to accelerate, a bit of power down into turn 10 where we really have to pull it up. Good passing opportunity into 10, of course. And then coming out of 10, we accelerate down the Hyundai Corner, another good passing opportunity coming into there, through the turn 11 and then through the treacherous turn 12 where you've got to be careful of the pit wall as we head back down the start-finish straight. So we've been here with the with the East Coast Series. We've been here at Winton 6 times. We've had 5 different winners. It's an interesting circuit. We've had 24 lap lead changes, so plenty of action here. And of course, the East Coast track record, and my notes have just gone away from me, for the national course here, of course, is Adam Briggs. Sorry, not Adam Briggs, is the one and only James Scott with a 1:17.991. So that's our series record. So it'll be interesting to see if James can come out tonight and give that a good push. So small field, but I think we've got some quality drivers with us. Who are you keeping your eye on tonight, Dave?
I'm definitely the big fanboy, mate, with Blake. I reckon you'll be hard to stop.
Blake,
good eye on him. I think he might even be able to push the lap time as well, I reckon.
Yeah, James Scott, he's the man at the moment. I know Warboys is not racing in his own rig tonight, so I've been to see how he goes. Been tuning up the team boss's rig as he's finally got that move done. So Blake now not living too far from this track, to be honest. Will Wilson asking the question, do you still drive the Mazda?
No, we sold the Mazda towards the end of last year to some dirty Mexicans, aka Victorians. No, to a group of really good bunch of guys, and it came on the podium again this year. It took out first place as well in its class, which was always good to see. Yeah, limped over the line with a bit of oil pressure problems, but that went over. But now we're running a BMW 318, I think it is, 318i, or something like that, I think. And we came third this year in the 6 hour.
Oh, it's because of the super refueling you had.
I think it definitely was in the refuelers. The refuelers definitely had a minute part in it. I'll just go with that part.
I got to say, it was an experience I'll never forget in a long time. Being able to sit in the pit lane and for that whole event. Just the way they do the 6 hour, it's well worth getting up there for a look. As Hobbo is sitting on the boards at the moment, we're only 5 minutes in. But Hobbo with a 1:18.66 sitting there quite well. We might have a quick look what the weather actually is. So the boys at the moment, we've got a fairly cold track, 23 degrees Celsius. That's a lot warmer than what it is in northeast Victoria today. Will Wilson saying you'd choose a BMW as well for the 6 hour. Definitely Damien Johnstone here, a little bit loose, putting on a show. We might just go through, as we've got a small field tonight. So we've got Hobbo, of course, the only person to be the two-time champion of the Supercheap Auto East Coast V8 series, running the number 1 on the car from Synergy Sim Racing, being a very talented driver, very clever driver, goes about working a race series by just being consistently up there. And of course,
that's what it takes to take a championship out. Just keep being consistent.
And of course, he's on an outlap at the moment, so I might just jump on board as he ticks over the straight, put the pedal to the metal, so to speak. And you can see how that wall comes out to you very quick as you go through 3.
Not as quick as some.
And we turn and go down the hill through the sweeping Coates corner. Then we come in to the sweeper. So you got to control the throttle, control your tyre pressure. Then the quick snap back at rollover. Got to be careful not to use too much curb there. It'll unsettle the car as we come into Penrite. And around the tree. Take your time. Be careful. You don't want to spin it up too much. Into truck assist. And then get the power on as soon as we can. Work your way through the gears just to get to the end of them. Jump back down again. Nicely, make sure you get onto that apex on the outside. Use all that curb. Heading down the Hyundai corner. And I don't mind. No car noise apparently. Let's see if I can get that a bit louder for you.
Hold on.
And Hobbo goes a 1:18.519. So Hobbo goes a bit quicker. And that might be a bit louder now. So I got that going. Big shout out to Pete Keller here. Of course, Pete, one of the split 3 V8 drivers from Synergy Sim Racing. He would know David very well. Yeah, as a special guest tonight in the com box. Mark, of course.
Many battles with Pete.
And of course, Mark Duggan, my regular co-host, is out this week with an appointment. So hopefully he'll be back next week.
I heard he had an appointment with some weird German bloke.
And someone's saying that you sounded doughy.
Oh, sorry.
With your engine noises.
I'll tune the timing up in the pit stop and bring it back out.
So, Blake Wall, boys.
Hold on, I'm sorry, but hold on. Will, sorry, mate. You don't want to hear my cracked manifold, trust me.
So, Blake Wall, boys from WK&P. Car looking very settled. Let's put a bit of time in the last couple of days in tuning the rig up that he's driving. Reckons he's pretty impressed with how he's tuned it up. Considering he's running the same equipment that you and I are running, Dave, we're going to have to pick his brains on all of that.
I think so. Definitely think so. It's going to make us look really, really, really average.
Yeah, it already does.
Not that he does it already, but, you know, even more so.
As Blake ducks into the pits. Of course, the big sensation from 2 weeks ago, the new signing to Phase 4 Motorsports. There was rumours going around it was only going to be for the East Coast Series, and then showed up at Scops in Phase 4. Then we've got this man on track as well, James Scott, our series leader. James, of course, absolutely flying this season, the most winningest driver in the series. I think he hasn't done is taken the crown, which I think we aren't too many races away from watching James do it. As he looks a little bit loose coming through that corner there, manages to keep off the Worrell wall.
I know what you're talking about.
And James Scott bumps himself up into third. I was expecting James to be a little bit quicker. That's still a long way to go. Still got 20 minutes to go. Let's jump on with Damien Johnstone, his Synergy Sim Racing teammate. Of course, another first we're doing tonight as well is we're actually streaming on Twitch as well, so something a bit different. So if anyone is out there watching on Twitch, jump on, give us a comment.
Is Twitch like a nervous twitch I get when I wake up in the morning, or is that something else?
That's something else.
I like that itch Gunter gets.
Yeah.
Okay, fair enough.
And Pete saying g'day to you, Dave. Nice back.
G'day, Pete. Missed you, mate.
And Harry Dengate, still chasing his shirt, apparently.
Told him that Gunter was signing autographs. He's signing autographs again this weekend.
Yep. And Tim Mulford, he's running around in 7th at the moment. Timmy, of course, with Phoenix Racing. Home of that great young prodigy, Rian Leonage. As he's in the pits as well. Craig Schultz, 9.5 Sim Sports. Craig battling away pretty well. A very consistent, conservative driver. Probably would like to be a little bit up the grid, but no, 0.039 is not too far away from knocking off Timmy. And then another 0.05 of a second would get him up the Dengate. So definitely working the car pretty hard here.
Definitely one of those tracks where if you push too hard, you're going to lose time. I think.
Yeah.
I found that out the hard way.
And Feces found the grass, so that's Craig showing it the hard way as well. Kenneth Ladder, another one out there tonight from Synergy Sim Racing. Speaking of championship points, we might have a quick look at that while the boys are all doing in and out laps. So have a look after 8 rounds. No drops counted into this. James Scott's got a commanding lead of 13.41 from, interestingly enough, after Road America. Paul Young has jumped up into second with 12.70. So great effort from Paul, being consistent. The other surprising man is Christian Smart with 12.21. So Smarty, another one who's been consistently running around in that mid-top 10, starting to get some consistent results. Tim Mulford's jumped up into 4th. Blake Warboys missed last week due to a house move. He's now in 5th. So I expect him to bounce back up when the drop rounds get counted. Hobbo, same thing again, missed a couple of weeks with the holidays. Then we've got Ladder, Jordan Ross in 8th, Damien Johnstone 9th, Harrison Dengate rounds out our top 10 with Sean Rigby and Jamie McKnight, Schultz, Whiting, Kritsnov, Barella, who's out tonight with COVID, Freeman and Ratu, Taliantris and Briggs rounds out our top 10.
That first 7 was really close. Like from 6th to 7th and so on. It's
very tight.
Anyway, yeah.
And definitely need to be consistent. Let's jump back on here. Damien Johnstone, as well, boys, is in the pits. James Scott, I think, might be on a quick lap here.
It's not always good to be quick. Sorry.
Going to be some interesting racing, I think, with a few of these boys. Of course, the sprint race format we're running tonight, which is something a little bit different. We're basically running, if I can just get my notes up here. The boys are basically running, as we said, 2 sprint races. The first sprint race is 60 kilometres. And no compulsory pit stops, so it's just a straight out sprint. And then the second race is 100 k's with 1 compulsory pit stop. So safety car could throw everything open there and make everything very interesting for where we run with. Of course, we're running with an afternoon dynamic weather system. The track state was 5%. The boys have 1 fast repair. Unlimited fuel, which being sprints shouldn't be a problem. And then, of course, 25 points is their incident limit that they guys have. Yeah, and for a compulsory pit stop, they need to change 2 tyres and the car needs to go up on the jacks. So that's the track state that the boys are dealing with. Big shout out to Ben Morris as well. He's looking good. Paul Young in the Phase 4 machine. Definitely a good outing in the last 2 weeks. And be interesting to see how he goes tonight. And Will Wilson commenting that McKnight's down in 12th. Yeah, he's missed some races. Jamie was overseas for a couple of weeks as well. And had some equipment failure, I think, early on in the start of the season, if memory serves me correct. So, yeah, Jamie, that's the only reason he's down a bit. The sprint format probably doesn't quite suit some of the veteran drivers where they can play the strategy game, get themselves up. But it'll be interesting to see how they go tonight in that sense, whether they can manage to keep up with these young blokes. So let's see what James does this time, coming across the line. Expecting him to go P1. And there he goes. A 1:18.347.
Nicely done there.
And a big shout out to Mary Partridge as well, who's watching out there on Facebook. Big cheer squad of the WK&P boys. Looks like this might be going again here.
Always got to back it up with a solid effort.
Just looks so composed.
Does it look so? You'll crack it again, I reckon.
Just the skill effort of James Scott. Of course, James leading the Logitech G Pro Series at the moment as well. Hobbo goes at 1:18.468, so he doesn't improve. I'm telling his teammates in front, can always bail to the pits if he has to. He's going again. Does that tyre wall still give you nightmares?
Every time I see that. Oh, he didn't do it. Just.
Didn't do it. Still quicker than anything you and I can dream about.
Yeah, pretty much.
And big shout out to Joshy Barella on the Facebook as well. No Ash tonight, so should have an enjoyable coverage. And Will Wilson, pretty impressed the fact that we're on YouTube, Facebook and Twitch, saying that we just need a daily podcast and an OnlyFans. Well, good.
Well, I have an OnlyFans. You're more than welcome to subscribe if you want.
Oh, dearie me. Call it John's John. Or something. And anyway, have a quick look at who else we got out in there. We did see the Big People's Champ. He's got it sitting in the pit wall at the moment. Smarty's out there. Another one of the wily old vets doing a bit of lawn grass cutting, taking the quick entry into the pits. Jump on with the young H. It's still very little bit overcast out there. What can H do? It's
It's looking pretty great.
very difficult track to get the setup 100% right. You know, and it was probably lucky when doing sprints, but you need to keep those tyres balanced as he comes through Hyundai.
Blake looked like he was a little loose coming out of that last corner then.
Did look loose in the background, didn't he? Was saying the wheel has nowhere near the feel that he gets out of his VRS wheel.
Yeah, okay.
H goes to 1:18.7. These boys are now ticking down into the last 10 minutes. Is that really on there or just a spot on impersonation? Not sure impersonating what. Assuming you're talking about Gunter. No, Gunter's with us as well. There's three of us in the box. Gunter's our special comments man for the evening.
I'll see if I can find him for you, but
Of course, Gunter is an expert of the Nordschleife track.
yeah. Hello, Will. How are you tonight? Yeah. I like this track because it's got the bush right in the middle of the corner, and it's got two corners that look like boobies. Yeah. It's not as good as the Nordschleife. I think this whole straight might just be the one whole length of the Dottinger straight, but what can you do in Australia?
Paul Young missing a bonnet. So not sure what happened to Paul there. We might have a quick look on Supercheap Auto replay. He's caught the dirt. He's gone through.
Oh, he went a bit too deep into the brown stuff.
It's definitely not good, Ben. Needs a new bonnet, mate.
He was a little loose in the arse ends and he went too deep into the brown stuff. And found the wall really quick.
Spending the phase 4 budget on new bonnets already. And he's that face back. It's Hobbo, is it?
I think so. You can't park there,
They're
mate.
all happening. Damien Johnstone went off. Not sure what happened to Hobbo. Right, Damien Johnstone missed a pit entry. This Hobbo gets in a bit deep, spins it around. That's definitely showing how hard these boys are pushing in this last 10 minutes. Big shout out to Steve Murray as well, who's jumped in. So very un-Hobbo-like to spin like he just did then.
I think he needs some Metamucil to tighten up the rear end a bit.
Yeah, definitely very un-Hobbo, as Warboy is still sitting in third. Hasn't managed to get up on Hobson. Young's on his way back out with a new bonnet. And we also have Damien Johnstone, Harrison Dengate in 6th. Great performance from H. Timmy Mulford in 7th.
Stuff all between them.
And Kim Jones sitting back in pit lane, still trying to get a time in, so running a little bit late. Another one of the 9.5 Sim Sports drivers. Of course, your finishing position in race 1 determines your grid position for race 2 as well. I don't think I mentioned that earlier, as Blake gets a little bit loosey-goosey coming into pits. Might jump on with James Scott as he's on a flying lap. Got that Synergy Sim Racing ZB really hooked up here at Winton. Definitely got the car very composed.
It's smooth. I could drive like that. I just don't want to.
So to show me up, is that what you're saying?
Yeah, I reckon you could do it too, but yeah, Got to give these young blokes a chance, you know, when they're making it through.
All right, James, let's see what he can do here. He comes through turn 12. Nicely hooked up through the curb there. And crosses the line. A 118.264. Goes quicker again. Steve Murray saying he drives like James Scott in real life. And Hobbo, another off track. Very on Hobbo tonight. I know Hobbo's a bit of a I know he's a bit of a dirt track racer, but he doesn't have to show that off here.
That's not good there.
Definitely got that drifting the right way. Finding hard to get back on the track.
He was looking at the bush and that's threw him off.
Will Wilson saying he drives like Bulldog in real life.
Oh God, I feel sorry for you.
Drives like how he rides a horse, drives a horse. And James into the pit lane, War Boys. He hasn't managed to get himself up. Kenny Ladder's jumped up another spot. He's got him in 7th. He's gone a bit quicker with a 118.824. These boys all running back into the pit now, I think.
New set of tyres and off.
New set of tyres and have one final assault at the track. That's better.
You reckon he's going to go up quicker?
I reckon he might.
I think he's on here.
He's looking hooked up. I'm surprised Timmy Mulford goes a bit quicker behind him there as well. I think it's Tim. And no, 118.6. Mulford doesn't go any quicker either.
He'll go for it now. Nice set of some heat in the tyres.
He's definitely very composed. It's nicely controlling the throttle around the tree. The truck assist. Well, incident notice, a warning for 654 for pit lane entrance as Wallboys heads in there. So 654, of course, is Craig Schultz. I'm not sure what's happened there. Jump on with Hobson. Will commenting on how fresh the WK&P livery looks. Just check.
That's because they haven't been hit yet.
Of course, that's the old livery. Actually, the new one got debuted last night in the AAG series, which the rest of the team will be debuting when VET starts in 2 weeks' time. And then the rest of the boys for season 7 of the East Coast series, which isn't too far away.
From what I've seen, it looks pretty schmick. Looks pretty good. I reckon there's at least there's 2 seconds in the paint job on it itself.
I hope so.
I hope so too. Need all the help I can get.
Incident, another notice for a warning on 085 for cutting in the pit lane entry. Of course, got to be careful there. That was Timmy Mulford. And Hobson goes off quicker again with a 1:18.423. So Warboy's on an outlap. James Scott on track.
And Scott goes
Quicker. Yeah, with a 1:18.253.
Someone should tell him that it's not always good to be quick.
He's young. He'll work it out.
It sounds like he needs to sit down and have a good old chat with Uncle Gunther.
So let's have a look at Warboys. Warboys, I think he's on his outlap at the moment. So he's the man we want to see if he can jump up the order. There's a bit of cloud cover come over the circuit. May see some temperature change here. Track temp is still 23, so hasn't really been too effective. Warboy's getting out of the way of the hard charging Kenny Ladder. And now Blake, he's off. Here we go. What can he do? That camera. Because we've got heat series, we don't get an extra lap. He's been caught out.
Oh,
No. I forgot all about that too. Being a heat series with 2 rounds, the clock stops when the clock stops. So we have a grid. We have, of course, James Scott on pole. And he did a 1:18.253 cracking time. He's ahead of the champ, Brenton Hobson, in second. In third, we've got WK&P's Blake Warboys alongside Phase 4 Motorsports, Paul Young. Be a good little battle there. And on the third row, Cam Jones from 95 Sim Sports alongside Synergy Sim Racing's Damien Johnstone. And then on row 4, we've got Harrison Dengate from WK&P alongside Synergy Sim Racing's Craig Schultz. And then when we jump over to the other side, we have Christian Smart and Jamie McKnight, the 2 Enduro partners, lining up on the row there with 11.6. And then chat in the background, I'm getting my ear. Cam Jones is the next man from 95 Sim Sports. We've already said that. Harrison Dengate. We're up to Timmy Mulford in 9th. Craig Schultz in 10th. Smart, McKnight. And then we've got Seb, who is our race control. Richie Barella, who is the man in the safety car. And Gunter is the backup safety car. That's why he's bouncing in and out of our commentary box, because he's down in race control.
he's down there. It's going to be an interesting race control with him in there.
Well, better him there than in here.
Oh, no, tell me about it.
Let's jump back into the race chat. Hoff is in the channel as well. How are you, Mr. Hoff? And the big Sean Mack quali lap gets cut short with heat racing. Good to have everybody in there. It's definitely opened up a bit. So we've just got to wait. Let this count down on the timer. I think it's a 3-minute timer, so we won't be too far away as the boys start to grid up. Of course, playing it cool, taking their time to get on the grid. The top 3 cars. It will be. I think expect James to get away pretty quickly. No fuel saving or anything required on this one because they've got unlimited fuel for only 60 Ks. I'd expect James to get away, but I reckon Hobson, Warboys and Young and Jones expect these guys to be quite racy amongst themselves. Maybe expect someone like John Stone and Dengate to maybe keep a fair bit of pressure on those lads as well.
They'll be the quiet achievers just hanging around the back waiting for something to happen.
Yeah. These boys race with a pretty good quality of standard, so expecting them to continue on quite well. Of course, we're about to go racing any second.
So,
James is on the grid now, which is good. Try and find a better camera. And the light's about to go on. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And we are away. The flag has dropped. And a great start from Hobson and Young.
Yeah, ripper of a start.
Very bunched up behind, too wide through the first 2 corners. It looks like Schultz. So Jones is going to get the jump on Warboys. But it is Hobson. Hobson is gone.
He's out there.
Warboys shuffled back 2 spots to 5th now. And we've already had an incident between the 03 and the 19 car. So, of course, that'll be interesting to see how that plays out. That was Cam Jones and Damien Johnstone, but we'll see what happens with that. Someone's got to call that in first. Yeah, he's a small field tonight, Will. The old week 13, usually we lose a few. But it's a quality field. As Hobson looks settled as he comes out of truck sister corner. Only 21 laps around this place. It won't take long to be done and dusted in half an hour, this race.
I said that to someone once. Didn't end too well.
As Hobson looks like he's going to come through the final corner and lead the first lap. You can see what Scott can do. One of the things about Winton, not an easy place to pass.
No, you got to really work for it around here, around this place. Get someone.
Something up to Craig Schultz. We'll just have a quick look there just to see what happened to Craig on the Supercheap Auto replay. And then what happened to Smarty as well. I think Craig's just got himself a little bit wide and found the grass. And then Christian Smart was the other one who was involved in something else as well. He's snapped on turn 3. He's found the wall and managed to keep the car relatively out of harm's way. So
That was a big street to twitch.
yeah, you would have felt that one when he hit it.
Mm.
And yeah, great start by Paul Morris, by Paul Young. He's got himself sitting there in 3rd, under a bit of pressure from Jones and Warboys. So the phase 4 motorsport driver battling away here. And of course the incident between car 33 and 19. No further action. James Scott sets the fastest lap with a 1:18.9, so going a bit quicker. He's got himself back up on the tail of Hobson now. So a few little battles, and Smart's crashed. We'll come to that in a second. Let's quick look at the battle here. Christian Smart. I think we had that one, sorry. Side by side here. Warboys having a look at Jones. Opening the door up for Johnstone. Bit of a tap.
There's the warning.
These boys playing very hard here. As we said, not much room to overtake. You've got to be careful. You don't want to damage your car. You don't want to damage your... You ruin your night if you do that.
It's not worth the risk this early on in the race.
No, it's not. As Paul Young now getting a little bit of a gap from Jones. I suppose that little bit of interlude with Warboys and Johnstone's allowed him to open that gap a little bit. And the other man, Brenton Hobson, he's under a lot of pressure. James Scott has closed that gap. See, bouncing over the curbs there through 2 and 3. Of course, Jones hunting down Hobson.
Can Hobson handle the pressure?
And of course, Christian Smart got an iRacing black flag for speeding in pit lane after going in after that big hit as well. So that night's just been compounded.
Oh, he's gone. He's done. He's got the red mist going.
There's nothing worse when you do something like that. It's you cranky yourself for hitting the wall, and you just go, not again.
Yeah. Oh, I wouldn't know that. I'm like, yeah, perfect. I think my record was about 4 times black flag and coming into the pits.
Oh, that's not good, Dave.
Every time you come in, well, it's a similar effect.
Anyway, bouncing on. great little battle here between these two lads. And I'm just going to have a look at something here. I'm not sure what's happened. Speaking of Christian, I think he's just having a night to forget, I think. As this was the entry coming into pit lane, I think, for that black flag. Oh no, looks all okay there. Might have just been iRacing playing games with me, I think. Sorry about that one.
Oh, 1x there.
1x there, was it?
Maybe that's 1x.
As you can see, James Scott now is getting very racy on Hobson, applying the blowtorch.
The pressure on.
Of course, Paul Young nicely in a gap there behind these lads. Dengate's been involved in something as well, so I'm not sure what Harrison's done up at truck assist corner. Might just stay with this for a second.
He's under pressure.
Joshy asking me if I'm going to Bathurst. Still trying to work that one out with work and everything else, but hoping to at this stage. Will Wilson saying that he might be driving with a mouse. Might be Christian's issue.
Might have a gerbil.
That's Chairman Vice or something special. James Scott, we got to go have a look at that Dingate incident. We did say we'd go have a look at it. We'll go on the Supercheap Auto replay. This is coming up into truck assist corner. He has done it all himself.
Oh.
Lucky he didn't get hit from the rear. And go back to live pictures again. And we might just jump back. Kenneth Ladder, he's keeping a bit of pressure on War Boys. Cameron Jones, he's got about a little bit of a gap in front now to Paul Young, so he's got a bit of work to do, but we can see them two battling up front in front of these guys. So that James Scott Hobson battle's probably our closest battle on track at the moment. James Scott applying the blowtorch to see what sort of mistake Brenton Hobson's going to make with the pressure put on him.
Has he got the legs on him down the straight? No.
No. As of course, laps ticking away here. We're already 7 down. Well, this is lap 7, sorry. Looking very racy, these two boys.
I reckon Scott's just sort of sitting there waiting for him to fill his tyres and then he'll make the move.
Just jumping another battle. This is tightened up. Craig Schultz has caught up to Jamie McKnight. The old PC, People's Champion, Mr. McKnight. Always great to have Jamie racing with us.
He's got his little red rocket there.
No, he's let Jamie playing smart, knows when to fold him, lets him through. Ladder keeping the pressure on War Boys. That gap's opened up to a second now to Jones in front of these two. Then we jump back up to this Hobson-Scott battle. Lee James keeping a very close eye on every move Hobson makes. Boys don't get a chance to have much of a break at this circuit.
No, you're definitely on it all the time.
Yeah, definitely a bit of hard work. Of course, if you're James, do you start thinking about the championship at this stage? Knowing that if I just sit here behind Hobson, I'm still going to get a bag full of points?
No.
No?
First, if you ain't first, you're last. A wise man once said, if you ain't first, you're last. You always got to go for that. You always got to go for that win. All that extra position.
We'll see what happens here. Still plenty of time left in this one. little bit of interesting wheel spin there.
Curbs nice and settled.
Yeah, they're both driving well. Hobson handling the pressure that's being applied.
I thought he would have dropped off a bit by now. Keeping it up.
Steve Murray asking, is there a compulsory stop? Not in this first race. First race is only 60 Ks. So this is the sprint race, and then we've got the feature race, which is 100 Ks straight after, where there is one compulsory stop. Might just go back down through the field, have a look how few people are going. Craig Schultz was the hard man charging earlier. He's trying to fight his way back up to Timmy Mulford. It's about 3.5 seconds back there. Of course, Craig caught out a little bit earlier on with an off. Mulford doing quite well, sitting in 8th. He's up 1 spot. Can see Johnston in front of him, so he's got a carrot to try and chase. So it'll be interesting to see if he can close the gap there. And then, of course, Damien Johnstone hunting down teammate Kenny Ladder, who is a couple of seconds up the road, 2.5 seconds up the road in front of him. And then we have Kenny Ladder, of course, who's chasing Warboys. He's been having a good look at the back of that WK&P car now for a while. Warboys has opened that gap out just a little bit, but it's still only half a second. And then, of course, we have Warboys, as we just talked about. He's about 1.7 seconds behind Cameron Jones, the green 9.5 Sim Sports car. And Cam, he's got his eyes on Paul Young in front. That gap's out now to about 1.5 seconds. And then, of course, Paul's 2 seconds behind our leading 2 drivers. Got a foot on the podium. The man sitting second in the championship. He'd be pretty happy sitting there, knowing that James Scott's just in front. And Brenton Hobson is our race leader. He's the man copping all the pressure as the champ from the champ-elect. And Sean saying Cam has finished his practice laps now. So expect Cam to start lighting the wick and closing that gap a little bit maybe, as he tries to hunt down Paul Young. That gap at 1.2 seconds. Well, it's got to be a little bit careful when we start talking sprint races. These boys are driving very hard. You still got to look after your tyres. It only takes 1 lap to burn them out if you go a bit silly.
God, looks like he's putting a bit more pressure on now.
Yeah. Definitely applying the wick this time.
He's all over him like a rash.
Yeah, you've got a cream for that.
Want to try those creams that don't work? If you got a special recipe, please text it in.
He's
yes,
definitely...
I'm looking at you, Will. I know you've had one before.
He's definitely right up the back of the Blue Synergy Sim Racing car.
Yes, he's all over that. He's right into the hard.
Now we're talking about Cam Jones finishing those practice laps. He's closed the gap now to Paul Young.
He's definitely pulled something out. He's getting in closer.
He's got that. He's taken 0.2 out of him. But Paul Young's last lap was a 1:20, and Cameron Jones was a 1:19.77. So he's definitely got the bit between the teeth and got the head down chasing. So Youngie's going to have to keep going here. He'll be noting that time getting closer to. Of course, with James Scott tucked up behind Hobson, those boys will start battling soon. Could bring Young back into the contest as well. as we're on lap 12 of 21.
Yeah, definitely. If the guys have been doing 1 minute 20s for a while, the tyres would have had time to recover a bit too. They might come on a bit stronger towards the end.
Yeah, it definitely could be the case.
Or they could just be slow. One of the two.
I don't think these boys are slow. Just quietly.
I'd try to make myself feel better, right? Yeah, I lasted a whole 2 laps in the practice session, I think it was. Not even 2 corners.
2 corners, yeah. He did quite well. Well, it's 21 laps to Rennie's, very short distance. Temperature's overcast. That gap's still floating around that 1 second mark. Kenneth Ladder now has caught back up to Warboys. So that gap's closed to 0.3 of a second as well. But Kenneth keeping that pressure on a bit.
It looked like he pulled away from me a little bit down the straight.
Yeah, not much.
Not much.
Point one. Point one. Cameron Jones not able to get under that second to Paul Young. You're hoping to close that gap a bit more.
There he is, under it now.
There's some good little battles around the track at the moment. Might just jump back up and have a look at Hobbo. Still under a huge amount of work here.
These guys are just, yeah, phenomenal.
Of course,
Oh, a little bit loose there.
I think James probably wouldn't wait to the last lap. I think James would want to get the job done soon.
Yeah, I think so. So it's got getting a bit sideways in.
Yeah, it was. That was James. A little bit of smoke. That'll probably affect the tyres a bit. That's going to allow Hobson to go. So he's even close this gap real quick.
He's giving him a bit of breathing space.
Definitely keep a bit of an eye on a few of these gaps, actually. You can see that Cameron Jones has got that down to 0.8 now. So he's starting to close up on Paul Young.
I think Blake's pulled a little bit away from Kenneth. Not much, but he's pulled away a bit.
A bit of good driving going on by these guys. Might just jump back onto that Kenneth battle. Kenneth's caught back up again.
He might go for a dive soon.
He's having a look.
Oh,
Bit of a lockup. He
That's
Definitely,
going to hurt his eyes.
definitely had the inner Gunter there.
He did. He tried to throw it inside, but no go. There's only one person who can do that. He's a German pest.
Of course, that corner's very famous for two very famous Australian drivers, Tony Longhurst and Paul Morris, back in the old BMW days.
Nothing ever good came out of BMWs.
And a bit of good commentary from Darryl Eastlake.
Oh, it's so huge! It.
For our younger audience out there, Google it. Go have a look at YouTube.
I still can't believe he was actually trying to punch him with his helmet on.
Yeah. One of the more funny emotions. This gap here is actually closing. This is now down to 0.6 of a second. So we're starting lap 17 of 21. Probably going to run out of laps, I think. But we are definitely getting a bit of a battle here, as James Scott hasn't really reeled that distance in yet, back to Hobson as well. So very, very stable drive from Hobson.
He's done well, he's doing well.
Done really well. Ben Morris from for Motorsports is going to be very happy with Paul Young here. I think he's going to get himself a podium. I don't think Jones has got the legs to get the job done. Same with Ladder. I don't think Ladder's got the legs to get the jobs done on War Boys.
Well, he was a bit too sideways in. That hung out a little bit too much.
That cost him a little bit. And James Scott's managed to close this back down to half a second. So, lap 18. 2.3 faster as Scott. A little bit of open air, so
He's doing well, he's got back up. He was, what, 0.8 off.
Hobson, we're starting to feel that pressure again. Huffy saying Paul Morris in the car with helmet cam on would have been funny. Let's come out truck assist corner. Hobson looking very composed. Might just go back, have a look at that Cameron Jones, Paul Young battle. That's getting fairly tight as well. 9.5 SimSport driver, Mr. Jones. He'd be trying to fancy a spot here.
You could say it's visibly tight.
Very visibly tight. Oh, a little bit looser from Jones, almost in the Worrell wall.
A bit of a flash.
You would have been sweating like the movie Aeroplane 2 when they had flashbacks too, would you?
Pretty much.
As Hobson too busy talking about pet names for a dog on his Discord channel, on his Twitch feed apparently, according to the 45-minute Minstock from New Zealand. Hobson,
Sure,
a cool name for a German cucumber. Not touching no one.
Oh, yeah, so many things want to be said right now. Don't get back in your box.
Can Cam Jones get past Paul Young? Can the Phase 4 driver hold off Cam Jones? This is probably the main battle we're looking at the moment.
Wonder if Cam Jones is visible in his mirrors.
You'd be wondering that.
Yeah.
And then the just for 45-minute Minstock New Zealand, good dog name for Hobbo. Gunter.
I heard that would be a really good name for a dog. But are you sure the New Zealanders are talking about dogs and not sheep or something?
Oh, wait, V8's. This is good. Penultimate lap. All getting the acceleration down there to Coates, just opens that gap up. Cameron going a little bit too wide, but getting a smoother line through rollover. In through Penrite, nice and smooth. Getting the power down, keeping the car control, looking very settled.
It's very hard to keep your car controlled through the boost.
And truck can assist corner, he's out of there, power down. I'm not touching that off. Ken Jones, had half a second, that gap's not getting any closer. Can just see Paul Young and these guys, they can just see the leaders in front of them.
Oh, he's pushing Young.
And we start the final lap, the white flag is out. Looking at the gap up front, that's opened up. I reckon James Scott's put the white flag up.
I reckon he's sitting there waiting. We'll go for keep for the endurance race or the 100k race.
The feature race, exactly. Hoping to get a better start, of course. James's weak spot has been his starts in the last few, well, basically for this season. So you'll definitely be hoping to get a better start in race 2.
You got to remember, if you get a good start, you got to make sure you finish strong as well and get a good finish.
Exactly.
There's no point just letting it go. It's the end.
And speaking of the end, we're heading down now to the penultimate corner. Yes, well, there is 2 races tonight. This is just a sprint race. We have the 100-kilometre feature race with a compulsory pit stop straight after the sprint race. So these boys are going to do it all again, put on a show. But it is this man, Brenton Hobson, man with number 1 on the car, gets the job done from James Scott.
That was well deserved.
Paul Young brings it home in 3rd for phase 4. Cam Jones in 4th. War Boys home in 5th from Ladder in 6th, up 2 spots. Damien Johnstone in 7th. And then Timmy Mulford from Phoenix Racing. Harrison Dengate in 9th. Rounding out our top 10, Craig Schultz. And then we have the man, the myth, the legend, Jamie McKnight coming home in 11th.
Coming home in 11th in his little red rockets.
And of course, Christian Smart had a shocker of a first race with an incident into the wall, speeding in pit lane and a few other things going on. Somebody's blown up out the back there, just trying to work out who that is. Might have been James, I think. Just had a bit of an incident. So anyway, the boys are all heading back into the pit lane. Well, that was an interesting race.
It was entertaining. As good as I thought it was going to be.
These boys. So no
Nice,
warm-up.
it was nice to hear race control very quiet for once. It's hard to keep those blokes quiet down there.
Yeah, definitely. So we've got 4 minutes now. So what we might do, seems we don't do interviews between races, we might quickly run to a ad from our main sponsor, Supercheap Auto.
There's no arguing that people love their cars.
We weren't arguing.
They talk about their cars, sing about their cars. Some people even look like their car. Whether it's an old car, new old car, fast car, family car, electric car, race car, two-wheel car, no-wheel car, or a car you know's parked around here somewhere. People who love their cars love to tinker with them. Some people tinker big, some people tinker small. Some people tinker some degree between those two variables.
Whose voice is that?
And that's where Supercheap Auto comes in. We've been helping people tinker for 50 years. For people like Bill, Lucy, Kevin, other Kevin.
Oi, get off my car!
Didn't catch this guy's name.
It's Kevin.
Not Patrick. He doesn't shop with us. Whoever you are, whatever you drive, we'll help you make it super. Because super is our middle name. Well, technically it's our first.
So we are here at the Winton Motor Raceway. Action and so much more, if you can remember the old jingle from the early era. Great little race, that first one, but that's just a warm-up for the feature race. We've got 100 Ks to go. The boys are going to start gridding shortly, and I think we're on for a cracker again, Dave, as these boys are starting to make their way onto the grid. Paul Young, the first one to sit there.
If the first race is anything to go by, it's going to be a good one.
It will be a very good one. I'm looking forward to seeing how these boys go. Will Wilson saying turn 8 should be called Gunter's Garden. I think Gunter's already got a corner named after him at this track. It's turn 12.
No, that's Dave's corner. Gunter likes to go in the bushes, in the boobs with the bush and
Turn
stuff
8,
in the middle of
yeah.
it. Yeah.
Of course, I did get my first induction to fast repairs down here at Winton with our little BMW. It's amazing what you can do with cable ties. That's all I'm going to say.
I think cable ties with sticky tape cannot fix. And the car went through the rest of the weekend.
Yeah, unscathed, luckily. Let's have a quick look at the grid. See if we can get that up there. So, of course, Hobbo, James Scott, Paul Young, Cam Jones, Warboys, Ladder, John Stone, Mulford, Harrison Dengate, Craig Schultz, Jamie McKnight in 11th. 12th is the man, the myth, the legend, Christian Smart. And then we have, after that, Seb in race control, Richard Barella in the safety car. We haven't seen that yet, which is a bit disappointing. And then, of course, Gunter is there as part of race control. So, interesting to see what he can do. They've got about 30 seconds to go. And these boys, I think, will be pretty fired up for this one, I think. As we get ourselves set up to go racing.
Scott's not on the grid yet. Oh, there he is.
And can't be too far away from go time. And big shout out Blake Warboys, sit low in there as well. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, green flag, we're away. That's a better start from James Scott. He's got the job done this time. He's going to hang on and close the door on Hobson straight away. That's the James Scott we like to see. And he is away with that one. Hobson in second. Jones up one spot into third. Oh no, Scott's just blown it.
Oh.
Our commentator's curse comes back to haunt me again.
Oh,
no.
That was all you, mate, not me. I had nothing to do with that, James.
Oh, I can't believe that happened. It was so minor too. It didn't really show up. It's going to quickly go a replay, only because we quickly can. So here it is here. James goes wide. Coming out of Coates.
Still early.
Back to the live pitches because there's a battle on here with Cam Jones. The 9.5 Sim Sports driver got himself up in the second spot here. Tucked up behind Scott is Young. Ladder up a spot. Warboy's back down to 6. Damien Johnstone holding his spot. Oh, Scott having a big look here. And going up the inside. Gets it done between 11 and 12. That is some sensational driving. Young now trying to have a piece of this as well. Hobson sets the fastest lap for the race. These boys are absolutely fanging it here in this middle pack. Ladder under a lot of pressure from Warboys, putting a lot of pressure on Young. Scott still out a bit, a ways ahead of Hobson. Sorry, Hobson a bit of a ways ahead of Scott. Cam Jones sitting in third. Of course, these boys 34 laps this time. and have to have a compulsory pit stop.
When do you reckon you're going to start soon and come in? Do you reckon they're going to get it out early or wait for the tyres towards the end? Better tyres at the end.
Oh, you've got to wait for the better tyres towards the end on the off chance of a safety car.
I reckon so, yeah.
If you
don't get so many safety cars around here, but...
Got to remember too, green flag stop's going to hurt.
Especially on track this one. The undercut doesn't work too good.
Well, only a small field, but they are battling. These boys down here, Kenny Ladder, War Boys. Great little battle pack. Plucking away. As Hobson has James Scott go quicker with a 1:18. Here comes James Scott. He's on fire. Just about to say with a 1:18, he's going to knock it on the door. Too wide, gets it done into Coates.
Boys, come back.
Definitely having a crack is Mr. Scott. So we now have Scott, Hobson, Jones, Young, Ladder, War Boys rounding out our top 6 at the moment. Still anybody's contest. Craig Schultz had an off. I'm not sure what happened there. That was back on lap 3. James Scott flies up out of turn 3. Coming down into Coates. Some great driving here. He's going to go back into that battle in the pack. Damien Johnstone tucked up behind War Boys. War Boys tucked up behind his teammate Kenneth Ladder. Tucked up behind Young and Jones. Scott might be walking away a little bit from these boys, but the rest of them are all definitely battling this out pretty hard.
So all tucked up together like a party.
Very big party.
Like a party, they're just missing the football.
You can see what Johnstone can do here. What can War Boys do as well? As Kenny Ladder definitely being put under a bit of pressure. You can see Young in front. He's got War Boys right behind him.
You definitely don't want War Boys behind you.
Isn't that the aim? You quicker than him, have him behind you?
I'd never see him in my rear vision mirror unless he's overtaking me. No, sorry, unless he's lapping me.
War Boys tucked right up in there. You can see Johnstone in the background there. Dengate's hanging on to this battle as well. Of course, no webcam for Blake this week because he's not running in his own rig and he spun. Oh, what's happened? I think he's been tapped. Let's just go back, have a look on the replay. Supercheap Auto replay. War Boys. Johnstone a little bit loose there. Gives him the tap. That's put him around. Johnstone, War Boys. This has been noted by race control. War Boys definitely smoked those tyres up.
Definitely not good. And there was no rear address there as well.
That one definitely being investigated as well. So leave that to race control. No, Damien did readdress that, Dave.
You did? Yeah, okay. Oh, that's good then.
Will Wilson.
So that happened.
Will Wilson asking what's on the visor of War Boy's helmet.
It looks like a mask that Gunter wears.
Yeah, I haven't got the good enough tools to have a look in there and have a look at that one. But anyway, we'll carry on back up here. The battle up the front. Holston is starting to see James Scott walk away. But Cam Jones is keeping that pressure on.
Gunther told me you had said you had all the right tools.
And definitely Cam Jones about 0.7 back. Paul Young losing those two boys out of that fight. It's opened up a bit of a gap behind ladder now. That's sort of taken the pressure off Paul Young a bit. Now lap 6 of 34 gone. Definitely some dueling going on still. Chris Smart, he's tucked up behind Tim Mulford. Of course, Timmy battling away pretty hard as well. Of course, it's great to see all the cars running around with the West End Motor Group banners on. And of course, West End Motor Group, Assisted to Easy Finance, Parramatta Mazda, Parramatta Isuzu Utes, Parramatta Peugeot Professional, Parramatta City Haval and Great Wall Motors, Blacktown Mazda, Blacktown City Haval and Great Wall Motors as well. So you are in that central Sydney basin in the market for a motor vehicle or a work vehicle. I highly recommend you give the team at West End Motor Group a call. Absolutely.
Really good. Really good bunch of guys. I've been there a couple of times myself.
Yeah. There you go. Coming from a local in the area. Definitely two thumbs up of endorsement for the West End Motor Group.
Well respected company.
And of course, well loved here at East Coast as well for their continuing support of the league. I believe they're back again next season as well. So absolutely love their support. And of course, speaking of next season, we have an introduction of what's been called the Super 2 Series. So for drivers that have been regularly racing Split 1 Scops or Pro Series, they'll race as our pro drivers. And then the guys that haven't raced at that higher level in Scops or Pro Series will be classified as our amateurs or our Series 2 drivers. They will all race in the same field. They'll all race for the same points on the overall table. But the highest rated Super 2 driver will be classified as a Super 2 winner. And then, of course, the other big talking moment about next season, of course, and I'm going to upset everybody and quickly flash this on the screen, is, of course, we have round 10 on the 17th of September. We have the Supercheap Auto Bathurst 1000. So that's going to be something pretty sensational to watch. And really looking forward to that event.
Anytime you can get to Bathurst is always good.
That's right, and Supercheap had a very good run sponsoring the Bathurst event, and I believe we're having retro liveries from the Supercheap era of Bathurst, so looking forward to see what some of these guys can race with over that event, and looking forward to the season 7. So the we'll ask, is it a legit 1,000 Ks? Yes, it is, mate. 2 drivers. The real deal.
So what you're saying with the Super 2 category, you mean there is a chance that I could win a race? The silence says it all, thanks.
Maybe you can team up with me at Bathurst Day. We both can win a race.
That's it. No, we need the expert pit crew for that. That's my excuse, and I'm sticking to it.
Cracking battles to be had by all. Just bear with me for a minute. So, Seb's saying Gunther's just got savaged. And of course, we've got some big names that have already entered, and some interesting new names coming into the series next season. So, of course, entries, of course, are still open. And we've got another vet legend coming in Scott Gamble, the man who's just split one in the V8 vets. He's coming to join us next season. We've got Blake Warboy's back, Hobson's back. We've got Vermeulen Motorsport coming and joining us. Some interesting names coming through with that group. Kai Allen is from Vermeulen Motorsports as well. So Kai Allen, quite well known in real Super 2 racing. He'll be definitely be interesting to see what he can do in the real game, in our game. And I know he's not in the Pro Series, and I don't know whether he's regularly raced in Scops, so he might be a Super 2 driver yet.
Who knows?
Yeah, Connor Nixon, of course, is back. He hasn't raced for a couple of seasons. Looking forward to having Connor back. We've got Trans-Tasman Racing, TTR. Ross Rizzo has signed up to race the series as well. Looking forward to seeing what he can do. And there's talk that there may be a few other TTR drivers coming to take the challenge to James Scott. That'll be quite exciting for us if that's the case. Yeah, so definitely looking forward to next season. Andrew Hoffman's come back from WK&P. Tom Frere's back. Chris Blanchard from WK&P as well. So a few more team drivers coming across. Matty Monday from Fishy Motorsports. And
That's a bit tricky.
And of course, Stefan Adams from Sim Black Racing. Definitely looking forward. But of course, we've still got room on the grid for about another 20 drivers. So definitely make sure, if you are interested, get your entries in ASAP. Jump on the Facebook page, you'll find links to the Discord channel and to the entry page. But definitely worth getting out there to have a look.
Definitely shaping up to be a cracker of a season.
Definitely shaping up already. And of course, Hoff wants to see Gunter in the 1,000.
Hoff normally likes to see Gunter in his birthday suit.
There's a Kenny Ladder here keeping the pressure on Paul Young. Definitely tucked up right behind. So lap 12 at 34. We haven't seen too many guys peel in for pit stops yet. Just Craig Schultz. Of course, was involved in a bit of an incident. So all, I think, going to play that longer game of waiting and hoping for a safety car, which I don't think they're going to get. Fortunately, the Vehicle Finance Solutions safety car may not be out on track tonight. Richie Barilla will have to holster the Kia for another night.
I reckon the Kia, if it doesn't go out, should go to the skid pen and just do reverse donuts.
Ken here looking very settled, very composed. Tucked up behind Youngie. And very settled. Might just jump up the front, check on our race leader, James Scott. He's managed to get himself out to 2.6 seconds from Hobson. Not breaking away to a huge lead that we've seen him do previously. Hobbo, he's got himself a 1.7 second gap from Cam Jones. So Cam Jones, Jamie Knight's been involved in incident, or has he gone into pits? Into pits. And Cam Jones, of course, sitting comfortably in third. He's nicely sitting about 0.7 seconds ahead of Paul Young. And then we've got Kenneth Ladder, Harrison Dengate, Tim Mulford. He's managed to hang on to the back of Dengate. So young H, bit of work to do here. Good to see Tim though, keeping the pressure on in 7th. Christian Smart's up 4 spots, sitting in 8th.
It's nice to see he's kept it on the track.
Yep, and doing relatively well. as he continues
doing
on.
well.
And the Blake Warboys and Damien Johnstone still toe-to-toe. Just shuffled back to 9 and 10 after the little indiscretion a bit earlier. But still having a good battle anyway. So there's a few battles around the place. Paul Young from Phase 4 Motorsports. He's starting to open up a little bit of a second either side. I think he'd like to be tucked up behind Jones here, I think. But could be saving a bit of fuel. We do have a pit stop to make. It'll be interesting to see how these guys roll these out. Of course, a few boys going in early. McKnight's going in. Johnstone's in as well at the moment. Craig Schultz went in on lap 8. So McKnight in the pits, just coming out.
You're thinking it's dead air, but Gunter would say something, wouldn't you?
It was. I was trying to work out what's going on. Kept getting his feedback, and every time I was like, "Oh, hang on, how are you, Mr. Bulldog?"
I'm good. Sorry, guys. I was in my spa, which has been fixed by the pool guys, and after a very busy day down at Supercheap and BCF, looking at the MacPack stuff, thinking about while I was in the spa, thinking I'd love to buy a car from West End Mazda Group, you know, but I'd need some vehicle finance solutions as I lean up against my Barella cabinet right now. Did I miss anyone?
That is impressive.
I got them all in there.
You did.
Good, I've rehearsed it for 20 minutes now.
I'm gonna have to call you
Well
Ricky.
done.
I got to say, while I was watching that, that was pretty impressive driving from James Scott in those first few laps. Those couple of passes he did were pretty phenomenal.
You could almost say they were passes of the century, but yeah. There's only
Someone's
one
already, yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
yeah, someone's already used that.
And it looks like the new team's agreeing with Paul Young as well. He's doing well up there in third.
Yeah, definitely doing very well. He'd be pretty happy with himself, I think.
It's a visible difference to the way he was a couple of weeks ago driving.
Yeah, it's very visible. Difference. Different colour. Oh, James Scott ducks into the pits. That's our race leader. He's gone earlier than later, which is interesting, on 15. That opens the door up now. Of course, I think he's just reacting to Hobson, but that opens the door up for Paul Young now to take that lead.
Interesting to see if Paul Young can put a decent lap in now. Try and get effect. Try and push the undercut back a bit.
Definitely, Dengate stays out, Warboys stays out. Of course, Warboys in recovery mode from that incident earlier on with Damien Johnstone. Definitely would not be very happy about that one, but definitely fighting his way back. But Paul Young is the man at the moment out there leading this race. As lap 16 of 34, she's ticking down. Bit past the halfway mark now, just about at it. How you been, Dave?
Not too bad. Try to keep out of trouble, but never can.
Never can. You pay.
You've never stayed out of trouble, have you?
Nah, it's boring.
Exactly.
And of course, got to see, yep, in goes Young. Young reacts. He's in the pits. What does Dengate do? As Dengate flies straight in as well. Warboys. He's the next man on track.
Or play out, I reckon.
I reckon he's kind of got to. He's got to kind of play that. There may be a safety car game. When you're sort of back in that 7 or 8 or 9, it's about your only option.
At least he has got an excuse. He's not using his rig, so.
Yeah, using Ryan's rig, of course.
Winton said it's not a bad rig anyway.
Well, Wilson once donated the pool guys increase the pressure on the spa jets.
Well, that's why it took me more than a race to get in here. It's 21 laps longer than I should have been.
Winton went to Spa once, but it's probably not the same sort of Spa that you had.
Oh, a bit of a
Probably
lock up
better.
there from War Boys.
It was probably a little more crowded than yours.
I think I may have sent a picture to a group that was one of your parties that you have a while back.
And of course, I was thinking you were going to say Spa-Francorchamps.
Nice, no. I had someone in there called Ella Rouge, but you know, it's not the same one you're talking about.
Hey, ready on?
It's just Stefan Beloff is more of a fan of my Spas than Spa-Francorchamps. We'll just leave it off on
As
there.
War Boys ducks in to requenches the lead back to James Scott. And James almost in the Worrell wall.
I had flashbacks in.
Did very well to hang on to that.
About there is where John Bow broke his ribs that time in Toronto when he got turned around in the TCR race.
Yes,
I should remind him of that.
you should.
I should.
So,
Oh,
seeing
oh.
you do driver coaching with him.
I walked up to him after the 6 hour and said, I beat you. Oh, he's a good bloke now, he's a good bloke.
Yeah, he puts up with you.
He does. A lot of people do that. Don't know how.
And of course, we were lucky enough to have dinner with his co-driver as well for 6 hours.
Weirder, the stories were
Gilly?
sensational.
Yeah, not wrong.
Oh.
Definitely a good weekend was had by all. James Scott, he's about 2.5 seconds out now. Everyone's now made their stops. Hobson sitting in second still. The current champ staring down, I think, who is going to be the future champ. Can he get the legs to catch him? I don't think so. Cam Jones in third. 9.5 Sim Sports. Supremo, Sean McLemore has got to be pretty happy with this one. The way Cameron's driving tonight, be a few less grey hairs on Sean's head, I think. And Kenneth Ladder from SSR sitting in fourth. He's up 2 spots. Great drive from Kenneth tonight, been very consistent. Performing really well. And then the next man we've got in 5th place is the former Banter Alliance driver, Paul Young. Changes teams, goes bang. Races in the top 5 and sitting second in the championship with Phase 4 Motorsports.
What do you expect from the next PRO driver as well? Always going to be up the front.
James Scott.
Paul Young as well.
Yeah. Surprised you didn't claim Hobson, Jones and Ladder as well. Harrison Dengate. He's raced with he's raced with Dave Baldock as well. He's sitting
Yeah,
in
they're all
6th.
trying to forget about Baldock.
Sean McMahon saying it must have been a long stop for Young. Yeah, I think that might have been the story. Let's have a look at the stop times. Pit time, pit lap. Pit time. Let's throw them up on the wall. Yeah, Young.
Rumour has it.
Go.
Rumour has it that they had to stop for a couple of autographs with Young first and some photos.
Yeah.
That's why it was a bit longer.
Yeah, 2 seconds has cost him.
You can do a lot in 2 seconds, just ask Gunther.
So yeah, we had Scott at 10.2, Hobson at 9.2, Jones 10.2, 10.5, 12.1, 11.4, and then 10.3. And then if I just change that to pit lane time, which might be even more interesting to have a look at, you can see Paul Young was in the pits for 1.5 seconds longer than just about everybody else. So that's going to hurt most people.
Oh, you're talking about seconds and not inches, yeah?
Yeah.
Oh, it's okay. I see.
Is there a way to keep you quiet?
Come here, I'll show you how to keep you quiet.
It wouldn't be what was on my Little Pony present, has it?
You must have been pretty chuffed when that turned up, though.
Absolutely. It was brilliant.
Right,
It was hard trying to. It was my daughter and my wife here. Oh, what's this? And they're looking through. I was like, don't look, for God's sake.
It could be anything. Don't touch anything.
Oh, what's this note say? No.
Something about being late.
So Kenneth Ladder now starting to come under a bit of pressure from Paul Young. So Paul Young trying to fight back from that long stop.
How did you get in here?
You let me free, yeah? I told you not to leave me free while I was strapped to your bed.
And big lock up from Young. That's going to cost him. That's going to knock a couple of tenths off. As we just had race control in here for 2 seconds, so
Maybe Sekunde.
obviously.
It's okay, Sebi. I give you a rub a bit later on. It's okay.
It's a little bit wide there from Ladder this time. Opens the door back up. It's just turning into a good little contest here between Young and Ladder.
I think race control was just bored.
They haven't had a lot to do.
Barella would be asleep. Which wouldn't be much different than when he's driving the safety car anyway.
And jump on with Paul Young. This battle here, I think, is going to be very interesting over the next 13 laps. Paul sitting second in the championship would know he needs to get past Ladder. Every point for the guys that are sitting second, third, fourth and fifth in this championship really matter at the moment. James Scott might be walking away, but definitely be very close in the contest with Jones and Hobson. Early change of gears, early shift. Coming out of truck assist corner, you can hear these guys are really trying to look after the tyres, get the power down as smooth as possible without the wheel spin.
It's very important to control your rear end there. You don't want it to let it go too wide, too loose. Make sure you get your power down nice and firm to the ground.
Absolutely. As we go past Worrell corner, heading down the straight. At gap only 0.3 of a second.
Do you know, some say as you go past Worrell corner, you turn it down, you can hear Worrell crying in the distance.
Yeah, that's what the first responder said was happening.
Something about peanut butter, nuts or something.
I think the story goes, she asked him what happened. Oh, here we go. No.
Oh, almost on the inside.
Almost. And then the response, I believe, was, I ran out of talent.
Pretty much. I think so.
And then she asked, does anything hurt?
No.
And I think he said, yeah, the testicle region, and then his pride.
I don't recall, mate. I don't even recall hitting a wall there. Or anything. But now if you listen, you can hear it. Listen.
Come on, Paul, let's go, mate. Let's make a contest here. This gap's still 0.3 of a second. This is our only closest battle on track, except for at the moment. Except for Warboys and Johnstone. Johnstone managed to get past Warboys, I think, in that pit stop. And lap 24 or 34 we're on at the moment. Now let's have a look. War Boys tucked right up behind John Stone. That was the battle for 9 and 10. These two boys in a little bit of an altercation early on. That's why they're so far back. But still having a cracking battle, these two. There's a battle up front. This is closed again. Young now really getting in there.
Has he gone to stick the tip in?
This battle now getting under 0.3 of a second. Oh, it'll be all right for that.
Whoa!
Oh, no, look up, a little twitchy. I think those
First tap's a warning, I believe.
Yep,
That's it. That's taps warning. That's the tip.
yep. Definitely got a good look at the Dr. Epoxy sign on the back of the Synergy Sim Racing car of Kenneth Latta.
Sponsors should be happy after tonight.
Should be.
Of course, Vehicle Finance Solution bonnet on the Phase 4 Motorsport car of Paul Young. And he's battling away here. Just can't close that gap. He can close it up, get it to under 0.3 of a second, but just can't find that spot.
The straights just aren't that long enough to get him.
Yeah, and it's a hard wall to pass. I mean, hard place to pass. Sorry.
No, that's last turn.
No, you too. And come on the gyro. Jump inside the ZB of Paul Young.
You're trying to slow it down with your fatness in there, Johnny. Wow.
What? Well, Wilson saying your monologue would have made every sponsor happy.
It's good. Gotta keep sponsors happy.
That's what it's all about.
I did miss Rebel though, so apologies, Rebel.
It's the rebel without a cause, though.
Yep. No, I have a cause to annoy everyone.
They pull that gap, open back out again on that lap. Let's have a look at the War Boys battle with Jamie and John Stone. So, Blake in 10th, probably not the result he was looking for in his second race. But still going to score some points nevertheless. Using all the curbs and then some.
Where's Blake sitting in the championship? How much is this going to hurt him?
Considering he hasn't really got a drop because he missed a round because of the move, I think this will hurt him a bit, I think.
Yeah.
Mind you, I'm not sure what split we have for points, whether it's a straight 50-50 between the two races or whether it's weighted on distance. But basically, it's only half points for this race, so... Oh, John Stone!
Whoa!
This
That's
opens a
it.
door.
No.
Opens a door. Come on, boys, get through here. Oh, I don't think he's going to have it. Too wide. Oh!
Nicely done, boys.
Nice driving.
By both of them. Oh, no!
Bye bye.
Oh!
Then undone.
Oh.
Oh, no! That'll keep Seb busy. Already noted.
Oh.
Wow. We might just go a different camera on that one. Straight away, Supercheap Auto replay. Warboy's trying to move across. I don't think Warboy's had the room to move across. So I think that one may go against him. But yeah, not a good outcome for Mr. Warboys.
Sure, Johnson's not an American copper doing a pit maneuver on someone.
We'll jump back on that ladder battle now. It's the only other close one we got on track. These guys half a second apart. I'm sure Blake will just blame the rig.
Oh, 100%.
Yep, I would be.
Ryan's rig's got form doing that.
Yep,
Taking people out on corners.
yep, or straights.
That one's great, yeah. Definitely got form.
Yeah,
Had the
Sean.
Yeah. As well.
I'm trying to remember what Ryan's got, whether Ryan's got triples or a single. I think Ryan's got a single, I think.
Yeah, from the in-car from the other night, it was only a
Single,
single
yeah.
yeah.
And different make of steering wheel as well than what he's used to. He's not running the VRS wheel and not running his triples or quads. So lap 29 of 34 and starting to dwindle down a bit. So definitely been some good contests along the way, but some good driving in this race from James Scott. To give a bit of a recap, as we talked early on, James needed to get the good start in this one. He got the cracking start that he wanted. He took the lead very early, and then coming out of Coates Corner, he managed to drop a wheel off the track and let 4 or 5 cars through. And then, but that I think lit the wick, put the bit between his teeth, got down to work. And after about 4 or 5 laps, had managed to get himself back into the P1 spot. So definitely some good driving from James Scott tonight to show his skills.
Definitely started strong, had good stamina. You know, let's just bring it home and finish hard.
Absolutely.
As good towards.
So, and then Hobson comfortably sitting in second. Cam Jones has driven well this race to gain a spot to move into third. Ladders up 2 into fourth. Young's lost 2 back into 5th. Dengate up 3 spots into 6th. Jimmy Mulford up 7th. Christian Smart recovering from a horrible, well, it's been classified as a race incident. There we go. And that is thrown me out. Christian Smart up 4 spots in 8th. He had a horrible first race. He managed to hit the wall pretty hard coming out of turn 2. And then also managed after that to get a pit lane speeding penalty. Yeah, but still going is the main thing. And doing really well. And continuing on nicely. On lap 31 of 34. Getting down to the pointy end of this, heading down towards the pointy end of the season. With not many races to go. As we talk about that in its entirety. Okay, all we've got after this one is 3 races. We've got Road Atlanta next week. 39 laps, 250 Ks. Back with a bit of strat for the boys. And we follow that up the week after with Watkin Glen Boot for 40 laps.
Das Boot is good.
Das Boot. And then, of course, we then finish with 49 laps around the infamous Mount Panorama.
It's the Australian Nordschleife. But you need to finish on the Nordschleife. It's not as good.
So definitely some racing to come still with 3 rounds to go. But I'd probably say James Scott tonight here would be definitely cementing a spot with a hand on the podium. So a hand on the trophy, foot on the podium, a hand on the trophy, ready to finally after being the most winningest driver in the series, finally put his hand up and say, I am the East Coast Supercheap Auto champion.
Yeah, they pretty much have a lead where it's unstoppable now.
Just about, I think. It's going to come down to see what Mr. Hobson can do in the next couple of races. And, of course, James has got to finish. Finish first.
Yeah.
You've got to finish.
That's it.
Will Wilson saying Nordschleife is the German Bathurst.
It's German Bathurst. Just a little bit longer. It's just a little longer because everything you have to go is the distance, yeah? You Australians will get it overdone too quick. It's all about the pace. Get your endurance ready. It's all about the stamina.
As we start the penultimate lap. So Warboys, I think, has parked her up in the pits along with McKnight. Done enough to qualify as a finisher. And Dengate is in the pits as well. So Dengate, I thought had pitted earlier, so I'm not sure what's going on with H.
It's not like Jamie to finish early.
It's not stories he keeps telling us all in vets, yeah.
It's normally he got balls away.
Anyway. Continuing on, James Scott, penultimate lap. He now only has 15 corners to go. I think he'll be very happy with the outcome of this race, particularly after the lap 2 spin that he had. And Warboys is back out on track. So is Jamie, from what I can see. That's good. Warboys is anyway. Jamie's not. As we take the white flag. This young man, James Scott, leader of the Logitech G Pro Series, leader of the Supercheap Auto East Coast V8 Series, is showing why he probably could be classed as one of the world's best sim racing drivers, especially in the V8 supercar. He's 6 seconds ahead of Brenton Hobson, has dominated this race after a minor off on the fifth corner, minor off. He has stamped his authority fighting back to get a lead and establish it really well.
I heard he just wanted to give himself a challenge in this race.
Definitely challenged himself with that lap 1 incident. But anyway, this is good stuff from James. I think the boys at Synergy will be very happy with the outcome of this. As comes around Worrell Corner for the final time. Unlike Worrell on the final time, he makes it through. To finish in first by a good 6.5 second lead from this man, Brenton Hobson, the number 1, the champ. He comes home in second. Cam Jones, 95 Sim Sports. Sean Max, got to be pretty happy to see his boy home in third. Then Kenny Ladder from Synergy, great drive. Brings it home in second. Paul Young still tucked in behind in fifth. Timmy Mulford in sixth. Great drive from Timmy. You'd be pretty happy with that. Up 2 spots. Christian Smart in the recovery drive. He's going to bring it home in 7th spot. Up 5. 8th, Damien Johnstone. Another one involved in that incident with Warboys a bit earlier. He's going to get it home in 8th. 9th will be Dengate. And Dengate brings the car home, and 10th, of course, is Warboys. He's already crossed the line. So that is our results for this evening.
It was a good race. Both 2 races were really good. Action all the way through.
Absolutely good driving going on there. I thought that was some good stuff happening from the boys.
They did well.
Of course, this is the part of the night where I usually hand it over to Mark. Who's your driver of the night, Dave?
It's stiff. You can't go past Scott. that second race was just unreal. And first race as well, he put a lot of pressure on Hobson as well. Like, you can't go past it. It was unreal. That's my personal opinion, but also as well, Hobson,
Yep.
the way he handled the pressure in that first race was really good too.
So, yep. No, we can do it. We can make driver of the day James Scott as well. And thank you very much to you, mate, for jumping in and helping us out in the safety cars on track, helping us out in the commentary, mate, too. So, Mark, hopefully be back next week. But thanks for jumping in.
Anytime, mate. Anytime. I've never bitten my tongue so many times before in my life.
I know you would have been.
Just look at that beautiful man, the myth, Richard Barella.
Oh, no, isn't that a great picture?
That's just a sexy picture. I didn't know the bloke was that sexy, eh? He could be a singer. He could be a singer, eh? I reckon.
He could be a
With
German.
looks like that, he could be a singer, male model, the works.
Definitely looks like he's very famous in Germany.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, of course,
Definitely.
Timmy Mulford showing how to smoke some tyres up there. Timmy drove well tonight as well, so
He did.
yeah.
He did. He drove very well.
And then of course the safety car, and he's out and about. Timmy definitely smoking him up here. Stick with this one for a second.
Oh, he grabbed another gear there. That's the way. Rev it out.
Rev it out. When in doubt, rev it out.
That's it.
Yep, it doesn't seem to work for me when I'm racing.
When in doubt, power it out.
And there is the Kia safety car, Vehicle Finance Solutions vehicle. Didn't get a chance to see that tonight in the race, but out on track at the moment. Definitely doing some good work. It's the safety car, but we didn't need it tonight, unfortunately. Yeah, so I said the boys will be in a second. Hopefully, we'll get a chance to have a chat. The Hobbo and James.
Oh, he's pulling off to the skid pan.
Uh-oh.
This could be dangerous.
He's only got two cars on track. This is a bit scary. I would have expected Timmy Melford to follow him in. This is going to be interesting. And go to as he rolls it in.
It does do good reverse donuts.
There we go. This shows the size of the Kia against the Ute.
He's just letting the safety guys know that, hey, I'm going to duck down here.
Look down here. Of course, this is something that not many people know about of Winton. It's quite funny. A few times I've been on here and drivers have gone, how did you get there? What are you doing?
They frowned upon it when I went there in real life. They weren't a fan of it for some reason. I don't know why.
Don't know why.
Yeah. There we go.
Richie.
The van, the myth. I swear you could do a song like that. Something about ding ding dong or something. I reckon it would go pretty good.
Tom Reed asking, did they actually render it? So not sure which one he's referring to.
You know what's really good skill? It's a front wheel drive and the front wheels aren't spinning. And
leaving us scratched up there anyway. They'll be making a circle.
make it a circle at least.
And I think Mulford's just smoked it up big time there as well. That probably looks a little bit better than Richie.
Anything looks better than Richie.
And we'll bring into the comm box the man who came second for the evening, Mr. Brenton Hobson. Come in and talk to us. Save us from this safety car doing circles. How'd you find that one, mate?
It was the longest 30 whatever lap long race ever. It's hard work driving around here.
It is hard work. It is very much hard work. And of course, race 1 you got a good start and you're away. Race 2, James got the good start and was away, and then had that slide off. And I think that was kind of a wake up for James, and he came back through the pack really steamingly, which I thought was pretty impressive, to be honest.
Yeah, the starts were almost like identical in the two races. It's just the two cars were on different sides of the road. In the first one, I got a decent launch and then got wheel spin right at the top of first gear, but still got to turn 1 first. And then in race 2, it was the exact opposite. James did the same thing, but he doesn't make mistakes very often, and he fell off. And then I just about grip rolled coming through the end of the lap. And probably my worst mistake that I could have made, because it got him back through into second so he could attack, and then straight away just jumped on me. So the first race I was just lucky to be in front. It's so hard to pass around here, and I only made one mistake, and he probably could have sent me when he got side by side there in the first race, but it was nice. And yeah, after that I just didn't sort of make any more mistakes, but I certainly wasn't as fast as him in the first race. He just was stuck, you know. And then race 2, once he got the track position, you can see what he does. He drives away and makes you want to uninstall the game. So that's just typical James stuff. And you want to try and keep him behind you if you can, but it's not easy to do.
No, it's definitely not the easiest place to race this. James, congratulations on winning, mate. That was a cracking drive, particularly in that second race when you put the bit between the teeth and fought your way back. Yeah, I just really blown away, mate. You must be pretty happy with that one.
Yeah, mate. I didn't even know if I was going to make tonight. I was coming home from down in Canberra. Made it with about 5 minutes to go in practice, so no laps since last week. And yeah, I had no time to practice the start in the first one. I got a shocker. Second one was, I don't know, probably it was a bit better, but I think it was more maybe Hobbo didn't quite get the best one. And then I thought that I would almost spin myself off since I got to the lead and did all the hard work. But luckily, yeah, I think it was one of the 9.5 cars, maybe Craig Schultz, maybe, around the outside, the second last corner on the first lap. Let me get back in a second, and that really helped.
Ah, fair enough. Of course, driver of the day as well, you've been given, Dave Worrell. Another cracking achievement as well. Of course, the man in third we've got in here as well as Cam Jones. Well done, Cam. That was some pretty good bloody pressure you put on and had applied on you, your battle with Paul Young, mate.
Yeah, it wasn't bad. I just didn't have enough speed to go with Hobbo. Tried my hardest, but yeah, as Hobbo said, it was the longest race ever as well. Really started to zone out towards the end.
Yeah, it's not an easy track, is it? I think people really appreciate that, you know, we see it on telly because of V8's race there and we think this is a spot where we're all going to race, but I think you don't realise that these short tracks like this, where you don't get a chance to take a breath down the straight, it really is taxing on the driver.
Yeah, it's definitely not really any time to have a break. By the time you do have a break, it's time to go again.
We'll start with you, James. No, you did it last week. It's your turn, Hobbo. You can do the SSR sponsors, mate.
Thanks. Yeah, shout out to the guys in the team. James, obviously, well done again, like usual, but also to the others that jumped in and had a crack tonight. Thanks to all the sponsors on the team. Watercraft Performance Centre, Parramatta Isuzu Ute, Western Motor Group, Works Racing Components, and any others that I've missed. But also shout out to all the guys that run the league and, of course, the sponsors attached to it and your good fine selves for putting on a broadcast.
All right, mate. And Cam, you can give us some shout outs for the 9.5 boys.
Yeah, just thank all the boys at 9.5, Racecraft, RSW Graphics, Turn In Race Apparel, Prestige Cinematography, Velocity Graphic Shop, and Racing Ears.
There we go. Next week, lads, we are off to Road Atlanta for 250 Ks. Probably a bit more of a good track for doing the old supercar, and 250 Ks puts a bit of straight into it as well. So, any thoughts on that one, guys?
I love that track. It's a good one. Doesn't mean I'll go any good at it, but it's good fun. So I'm looking forward to that, actually. That'd be good.
Yeah, going from one of the worst tracks on the service to one of the best.
Yeah, no, I'll be looking forward to seeing the driving there. It's a good track. Usually provides some good racing. The undulation up and down. I think 10A and 10B usually provides an incident or two as well. So it's definitely going to be a really good one. And as I wrap up the broadcast, I'd like to thank Dave Worrell and Gunter for jumping in and having a bit of a chat with us tonight. With Mark being away, Mark should be back next week. Big thank you to the race admin and the race control boys. Probably not overly taxed tonight. Hence the reason I've got one of the race controllers in the comm box. And definitely looking forward to next week. And we'll all be back again at the same time at 8:10, and look forward to seeing everybody then. Thanks very much, guys.
There's no arguing that people love their cars.
We weren't arguing.
They talk about their cars, sing about their cars. Some people even look like their car. Whether it's an old car, new old car, fast car, family car, electric car, race car, two-wheel car, no-wheel car, or a car you know's parked around here somewhere. People who love their cars love to tinker with them. Some people tinker big, some people tinker small, some people tinker some degree between those two variables.
Whose voice is that?
And that's where Supercheap Auto comes in. We've been helping people tinker for 50 years. For people like Bill, Lucy, Kevin, other Kevin.
Oi, get off my car!
Didn't catch this guy's name.
It's Kevin.
Not Patrick. He doesn't shop with us. Whoever you are, whatever you drive, we'll help you make it super. Because super is our middle name. Well, technically it's our first.